Hey, what's up, guys? Paco here, just giving you a little bit of an update of what's going on. So, first I'm going to start by showing you a little bit around. So, this is my garage. This is my home garage that I named Roofless Garage. Right now I have a little bit of a mess. I've been working on cleaning that mess, but it's known as Roofless Garage mostly because on my previous house, I had a lift. And in order for me to fit that lift in the garage, I had to cut a hole in the roof, pretty much. I mean, this one doesn't have the roof, but pretty much I had a hole in the roof to be able to fit cars on the lift. And Corey named it actually Roofless Garage. So it was actually known as Roofless Garage and Laundry, because I also had my laundry machine inside the garage. But this one doesn't have the laundry anymore, which I like. It has more room. So let me show you around a little bit. I have all kinds of tools. I have bandsaw, I have a sand blaster right there for small parts. I have some tools in there. I have my welder. I have a little bit of a mess because every time I work on it, I kind of like pull some stuff out into the driveway, and this gives me all that extra room. But so yeah, these I've been spending some money trying to get some new tools and trying to organize and get more desks and more bench workstations and all that stuff. And it's getting there. I mean, it's still a little bit of work I have to do. You can recognize these panels. That's what we have in the Maximum Driftcast studio. That's not real brick. There's just panels. So I'm going to be doing this video series where I'm working on cars. Mostly I'm going to be working on my projects, which, as many of you guys know, I have a tendency to like weird cars. And some of the weird cars that I have, for example, is my daily driver is the Aztek, which I own this thing for probably 7 or 8 years now. Some very good conditions, other than the fact that apparently the engine finally gave up. I think it's just a head gasket. But anyways, one of the things that I want to do is, instead of spending money repairing the head gasket, I'm just going to put that engine in here. So 1UZ V8 inside the Aztek. A lot of people's like, how are you going to do that? Well, this thing is all-wheel drive. It already has a rear diff. It has independent suspension in the rear. So I think that diff's a little too small, but I might just upgrade the diff and put a diff from the Lexus. So I'm just going to leave it automatic. It's going to be kind of like a straightforward swap, but we'll get into that. The other thing a lot of people keeps asking me, so what about the Dajiban? What about the Dajiban? And what am I going to do with it? Well, here's the Dajiban right now. As you can see, it's kind of low in the back, but pretty jacked up in the front. So the first thing I need to do is lower it, and I've been having a problem finding lowering spindles or lowering knuckles for them. Apparently they're different than the Dodge trucks, but it's one of the things I always wanted to show people. I made a little bit of an intake. It's all metal. It just needs a little bit more body work to clean it up, and it goes straight into the Spectre filter. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's right there. The guys from Spectre sent me a full intake pipes, couplers, and a bunch of other stuff. And I don't have the keys right now, but I will show you the interior. But it's pretty tinted, can't really see much. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna make it look good. So it's gotta be slammed. I'm gonna put some nice tires, probably something meaty. I'm still not sure what brand I'm gonna go with. We'll see. Email me if you wanna give me free tires. The other thing, I mean, that's my Avalanche. That's what I use for towing. And one of the things I wanna do is paint all the cladding, paint it black. So I hate how it looks all, you know, it's all dried out. But that's gonna be another thing. So Let's go back inside. I'm gonna show you what's the rest of my projects. So obviously, if you guys saw the first episode on my series, you saw this little thing right here. It's also known as an MK Indy R. It looks just like a Lotus 7. Lotus, I don't know how to say it, Lotus 7. Some people know them as the Locust because they're cheaper to build. This one has a Miata 1.8 liter turbo engine, which it makes like 240, 235 horsepower, and it is insanely fast because this car weighs a little bit over 1,000 pounds. But let's see if you can see it. It has pretty much nothing in it. Tiny little fuel cell, and that's it. I mean, it's pretty much a go-kart on wheels. There's a nose. So if you subscribe, you're gonna be seeing the second episode where we paint it. We're gonna paint it, put it back together, and take it for a ride, and you'll see. Let me see. Let's close the door. Oh, by the way, that's my bike. A lot of people have asked me what kind of bike that is. So it's a Yamaha. It's a Yamaha 1700, also known as a Midnight Warrior. So yeah, it has pretty much a 1.7 liter engine, V-twin. But let's go to the back. Now this is the laundry. This is where the actual laundry happens. And oh, sorry, my house is a little dark. So I'm going to the backyard because that's where I keep most of my crap. This is my backyard. It's a little dried out right now because it's Arizona and you know we don't get a lot of rain. But let me show you around. So this is my Subaru SVX. A lot of people seen some photos. That fender got messed up a while ago and never painted, but I got a new one, but some dude backed on me. It has a 5-speed manual conversion from a RRX Subaru. The car's in pretty good shape. It's actually fairly clean inside. It's just a little old, but you can see that 5-speed shifter. There's a little bit of wear, the typical wear on the leather. Other than that, the leather's in pretty good shape. The dashboard is complete. The car runs awesome, and I personally love how this car drives. It's super tight, all-wheel drive. Makes about 230 horses, I think. But it's a flat 6, and it goes like hell. I mean, it sounds pretty awesome. So one of the projects I'm gonna be showing you guys is getting this thing back on the streets. I think it needs a fuel pump. I'm gonna paint this fender. And one of the things I did a while ago and never finished has an STI bumper. That's some custom work that I never really finished. But I think it looked kind of cool. This looks pretty mean with that big opening. Anyways, the other thing I want to make a video is my Buick Reatta. This is the original Buick Reatta. Well, that's not the original. This is my second Buick Reatta. It has some C28 replica wheels. It's hard to find real C28s with that bolt pattern, but if you can see, it's all lifted because there's no engine underneath right now. It's empty because I'm putting an electric motor. So it's gonna be an electric car. I don't think this one's open, but this one has RX-8 leather seats. They look actually kind of cool, and you definitely can't see it, but it has this car has a touchscreen, so it's like 1989 technology green screen touchscreen. And this one's gonna be electric. I always want to have an electric car, and since this car is like all about like the technology and all that stuff, and it's front-wheel drive, so it'll be a pretty easy swap just to put an electric engine, power the front. So that's another thing I'm gonna be trying to work on. Now, these two things right here, so it's a 300CX Z32 and have another Z32 right here. So This is a parts car. This one was converted into right-hand drive at some point, and they did a pretty shitty job. Like it's all jacked and hacked, and the welds are terrible. But it had a lot of good parts, so I got that car. We're putting all these parts into this car. This car is the body is pretty clean. It's pretty straight. We already worked and cleaned the engine bay. This was my first paint job, pretty much. I think it turned out pretty good. It has a little bit of, I have a pine tree right here, so obviously it has a little bit of pine tree barbs and all that. But this car is my ex-roommate's Victor. I gave it to him for Christmas, and he likes racing. He likes road racing a lot. So one of the things he wants to do is road race, and he didn't have a car for it. So I got him this 300CX, and this guy's gonna be just a road racer, grip racing, no drifting for this one. So once I got all the parts from that one's going away. So also, here it is for everybody who keeps asking me, the infamous Tofu drift van. So there's the Previa. I know it looks so sad sitting there by itself, but for those who haven't seen, let me show you around. So this one has an S14 rear subframe conversion. It's got all the Voodoo 13 aluminum control arms. It has a dual brake caliper using Maverick Motorsports adapter for S14s. And the front is pretty much, there's nothing. That's where the engine used to be. It had a 4-cylinder engine that was sitting like this, like a flat engine, but all cylinders facing the same direction. So only one head, 4 cylinders. You used to be sitting on that. Now that is gone because I'm putting a 1JZ. And that's gonna be quite a challenge because the idea is putting that 1JZ right up front where it should be, you know, like kind of like sitting in top of the axle. I'm gonna try to push it back a little bit to hold a little bit of, keep a little bit of the rear weight. This thing is very long, so I wonder if it's gonna be good or not or what. We'll find out. But right now it's missing all the front, it's missing all the headlights, but I have everything. It's just some boxes. I've been having a lot of projects that needed to work on, so stay tuned also on Roofless Garage because I'm gonna be starting working on this bad boy pretty soon. So there's a Tofu van, there's a Z, there's a Riata, there's a Subaru SVX. They're all my projects, so hopefully I'm gonna be getting in detail, getting all these builds in detail, see what you guys think. I'm not an expert, and that's the main thing about this garage show that I'm working on is that I'm not an expert. I'm not a professional builder or anything, but I know how to do these things. I know how to weld. I know how to design. I mean, I'm actually an industrial designer. I went to school for this, and I really wanted to put my skills to the test and build my stuff on my specs the way I want. And if it doesn't work, I mean, it's still just a learning procedure for me, and that's something that I want to do. So I think it's gonna be funny. Watch me fail sometimes, and if I succeed, it's gonna be cool because I really want to succeed and be able to get those cars back on track. So stay tuned because next weekend I'm releasing the second episode of Roofless Garage. And with that said, thanks a lot for watching, and don't miss Maximum Driftcast, the only drifting podcast hosted by a hot dog, an old man that's only 30, and yours truly. So, guys, have a good night.